Another very interesting question that I received here about this is what your two so far unpublished books supposed to be about. I mean, Music Beyond the Instruments, The Art of Transcription, and The Ideals Art. Yeah, two works that I have been doing, like when I was doing almost at the same time that I was doing the Scientific System of Interpretation, that is my published book. Well, one of the things that I see as a big problem nowadays is that when it comes to books, when it comes to CDs, this is all dead market, dead market. I don't see places like Amazon Books, this kind of thing. I don't see this as a useful tool, except if you are going to invest time on promoting yourself on that. And not just time, you need to invest money too. And I'm not someone that I'm not happy to sit down and pay for a lot of effort and pay for a lot of work that I have already done. I think it's quite unfair. So when I published my first book, I noticed that the amount of people interested in that is always small. Right? It's a small number of people. So when I put this somewhere in a this book online bookstore, this kind of thing, I make them available in one place. Someone pick up that copy, put for free in another place. Then I needed to struggle a lot to take it out, and the result is that you even don't earn enough for all the importance of the work that you do for that. So this is why they are still unpublished, and I didn't care too much. But my idea is to make all these books become something in form of video, because I think now video is the most reasonable way to do anything. Because at least I can have most part of the control out of it yet. So what is this book about? Music Beyond Instruments, The Art of Transcription. Basically, this is a book where I explain about all my studies around the art of the transcription, how the transcription is made since since stampies, since the 1360s, when you have the first kind of transcriptions for keyboard. And from up to now, what happened all this time, which techniques were developed, how they are developed, what's the meaning of using some techniques sometimes for some language, and what I think is the most interesting approach for someone that want to study and develop their own transcription. So in some way it's like a technical book, a book about how to make transcription, but from a point of view of someone that make the transcriptions, and in a more ordered way, in a way that you can compare with things, not just follow rules. Oh, rule number one is this. No, it's what happens with this approach, examples. Oh, this happens with this arrangement. You have arrangements, you can pick up sometimes some pieces that have plenty of different approaches, like for example if you pick up Toccata e Fuga by Bach, the BWV 565, that there are plenty of transcriptions of that, and some of them have a completely different approach, and this is a very interesting thing to do when you can compare all these versions. It's a fantastic thing, and I did this with many works, so for myself. So I think making all this information available in a kind of order make easier for other musicians to understand how they can develop their own techniques. Also show what I did. So it's the Music Beyond the Instruments is a little bit like this, because, and why Music Beyond the Instruments? Why this title? Because the concept of music, in my opinion, do not belong to the instrument. So I remember when I was starting to make transcriptions, someone that became a great friend after. First time I speak about transcription, he said to me, if the composer wanted this to be on the piano, he would write for the piano. So he was very conservative on that. And that makes no sense, because Bach made transcriptions, Mozart made transcriptions, Beethoven made transcriptions, and even Chopin have a transcription. So sometimes they didn't work too hard on that, because they have already enough for what they wanted. But when they wanted too much one work to be played on the instrument, they make. But doesn't mean that they are not accepting you to make. So this was not a good statement. It was a statement of someone that don't open his mind to the beauty of learning the music without the concept of the instrument, without the sound of that instrument. And I love the composition. Yeah, when I think about some works, I'm not someone that I'm crazy about the sound of the piano. I'm crazy about the composition. The composition is what I think is fantastic. But I love piano, so of course I love to sit down on the piano and play. But my focus is the composition. So it's the music beyond the instrument. It's not the instrument that makes me love the music. It's the music that makes me love the instrument. I think this explains a little bit the meaning of that. And the other book, the Ideals Art. Ideals Art is a more philosophical work where I explain about my concepts on art. Because my concepts of art is related to the senses. I think that concept, the old concept of the seven arts, this is the most ridiculous statement ever done, and without any basis and missing things. And I divide art always based in the senses, based in what you see, what you hear, what you feel, how you taste, how you smell. This is much more related to the sense of arts, in my opinion. So it's a book about that. It's philosophical discussion, so it's maybe not so interesting for a video on YouTube, but probably for Patreon will be. So I'm going to at some point I want to make these books in form of video, probably discussing these in chapters or things like this. Maybe I make a reading out of some of these ideas that I wrote, or maybe I expand this in form of speech. Let's see. I'm going to probably do like this. But I have write them. I just don't feel that it's worth publishing, because nowadays no one will think that this is going to sell too much. And if no one thinks this is going to sell too much, that means no one is going to sponsor this kind of thing. And if no one is sponsored, that means I'm working for free, or working for having some sense in the end of the day. And I don't feel comfortable with this kind of thing. I am too old school to accept pay for my own work, let's say. Okay, so I think this answers the main question. And thank you again for questions. Every question that you might have, please send. I'm very happy to answer every time I can. And more videos will be coming in the next days, so stay tuned. Okay, see you.